On behalf of Prime Minister साहब,
अरे ऑनर
हुकूमत के पाकिस्तान सब खुशामदीद।
मेरा बड़ा भाई
Very warm,
मेरा
very
बड़ा भाई
warm।
उसमें बहुत प्यार
ਤੇ ਜੇ ਕਰਾਚੀ ਤੇ ਬੰਬੇ ਖੁੱਲਾ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ?
नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू ने इमरान खान को बड़े भाई कह के संबोधित किया और यह भी कहा कि मैं उनसे बहुत प्यार करता हूं। स्वाभाविक रूप से यह करोड़ों हिंदुस्तानियों के लिए एक गंभीर विषय है।
Hello everyone, good evening. I'm Shreya Dhondial. It is good to see you. Navjot Singh Sidhu has dominated the headlines this Saturday, and with good reason. As he visited the Darbar Sahib gurdwara in Kartarpur, Pakistan today, he took the opportunity to call Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan his older brother and said he's received a lot of love from him. Mr. Sidhu also batted for better relations with Pakistan, saying that will enable more people from India to go to gurudwaras in Pakistan and that trade can take place via Kartarpur.
On behalf of Prime Minister साहब,
अरे
ऑनर हुकूमत के पाकिस्तान सब की तरफ से आपको खुशामदीद।
मेरा बड़ा भाई
Very warm,
मेरा
very
बड़ा भाई
warm।
उसमें बहुत प्यार
ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੀ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਬਦਲਣੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਅਗਲਾ ਸਟੈਪ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਸਮਾਨ 2100 ਕਿਲੋਮੀਟਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਮੁੰਦਰਾ ਪੋਰਟ ਖੜੇ ਤੇ ਮੁੰਦਰਾ ਪੋਰਟ ਕਿਹਦਾ ਹੈ? ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ 2100 ਕਿਲੋਮੀਟਰ ਕਿਉਂ ਜਾਵੇ ਤੇ ਭਾਈ 20 ਕਿਲੋਮੀਟਰ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਾ ਜਾਵੇ? 22 ਕਿਲੋਮੀਟਰ ਹੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਇੱਥੋਂ। ਤੇ ਜੇ ਕਰਾਚੀ ਤੇ ਬੰਬੇ ਖੁੱਲਾ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ?
And clearly leaders within the Congress party not very comfortable with Mr. Sidhu's utterances in Pakistan. After Manish Tiwari, Congress's Rashid Alvi is slamming Mr. Sidhu over his remarks. This is what Mr. Alvi has said. He's saying the person who is responsible for the killing of our soldiers, how can he be our brother? Let's listen into what exactly Rashid Alvi has said.
मैं मनीष के बयान से पूरी तरह सहमत हूँ। हम अपने जिस्मों पे लगे हुए ज़ख्मों को कैसे भुला सकते हैं? और ऐसे ज़ख्म जिन पे हर रोज़ पाकिस्तान नमक छिड़कने का काम करता है, हम सोच भी कैसे सकते हैं कि वो हमारा भाई हो सकता है?
I'm going straight across to Pallavi Ghosh, who is joining us on the phone line. Pallavi, the Gandhis have thought of Mr. Sidhu as an asset, someone who can attract young people, to the voting booths as Punjab votes next year. Is he turning out to be a liability?
See, in Punjab, especially in the border areas, this is a very catch-22 situation. There are lots of people in the border of Punjab who also have relatives across the border in Pakistan. So I think Sidhu is trying to highlight that point is that there needs to be a people-to-people contact. The problems between two nations is something which should not be affecting the kind of lives of the daily people. But unfortunately, in the backdrop of the acts of terror, the fact that India has a very strained equation with Pakistan, these kind of comments may not go down very well and it gives an ammunition. But more importantly, Shreya, there are two things which happens here. Sidhu's comments are being used by the BJP not to attack Sidhu so much, but to attack the Gandhis, because it was the Gandhi siblings who had handpicked Sidhu. That's one. Second, at a time when you see the tide seems to be turning towards Captain Amrinder Singh after a repeal of the farm laws, we now have a situation where the Congress is fighting with each other. And Manish Tiwari is not just any other leader. He's a member of parliament from Punjab. And this is something which is making the Congress look horribly wrong.
All right, Pallavi, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much. Terrible optics there for the Congress party, as you're pointing out. Let me introduce my guests this evening. R.P. Singh is spokesperson of the BJP. Sujata Paul is leader of the Congress party, has a tough job today. R.P.S. Malhotra, spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. And Hemant Atri is a senior journalist. Obviously, Sujata, I'm going to come to you first. The Gandhi siblings simply are opening themselves up to criticism when they keep backing and betting on a horse who's insisting on galloping towards Pakistan all the time. He's a repeat offender. You know that and I know that.
as far as Mr. Sidhu is concerned, I don't know how you're connecting this to the Gandhis. BJP will do that, right? I mean, if you have cyber hoodlums and gangsters using the social media, I would be expecting the government to take some action if there's anything wrong that Navjot Singh Sidhu has said. Of course, when the Prime Minister goes to Pakistan, touches Mr. Nawaz Sharif's mother's feet, then he's a patriot. Right. And I feel really sick saying this because I see nothing wrong in him touching somebody's mother's feet. Better relations, bhaichara is something that has to exist between two neighboring nations. And it is very important that we have a good relationship with our neighbors. But of course, election season is here. And the BJP will definitely want to use, everything about Pakistan in their favor by maligning relationships and by attacking the Pakistanis, and in just 10 seconds, and in turn attacking the Congress party. But it's not really going to go down well with people because when you are talking about Prime Minister Modi doing the same thing, he broke protocol when he went to Pakistan. That is what should have been questioned, not something where we are trying to build a better relationship and trade has to be opened up.
Okay, I don't think there's a problem with what he said as far as trade is concerned. No one is disputing that. But two things before I get in RP Singh and my other guests. A, should we have friendly relationships, a friendly relationship with our neighbor? Absolutely, we should. But this is not just about any neighbor, Sujata. You know this. This is a neighbor that is pushing in terrorists who are engaging in firefights with our soldiers, sometimes killing them. This is a neighbor that is pushing in narcotics. This is a neighbor that is pushing in ammunition to create trouble in Jammu and Kashmir and in Punjab. So this is not just about any other neighbor. This is not a regular neighbor you are dealing with. This is a very vicious and dangerous neighbor you are dealing with. When you go there and you say the Prime Minister of that a country which is pushing in drugs and terrorists into India is mere bade bhai ki tarah, etc., leaves a bad taste. RP Singh, come in here. You're the spokesperson of the... I'll let you in. I'll let you speak, Sujata. Let me get in RP Singh, spokesperson of the BJP. Respond to what Sujata Paul is saying. What's the harm, she says, in having a good relationship with your neighbor? Itna galat kya bol diya Navjot Singh Sidhu ne in Kartarpur today?
Shreya, first let me demolish what Sujata quoted. Prime Minister going there and meeting Nawaz Sharif and attending the function, some marriage function of Nawaz Sharif's family. He is the Prime Minister of the country, and then he went as per the protocol laid by as per the norms of the external affair. Also, neither Sidhu, neither Rahul Gandhi are the Prime Minister of the country. So policies are being decided by the Parliament and by the ruling party on what sort of policy we have to have with our neighbors. And the late policy right now is that talks and terror can't go together. And that's the late policy right now. But Navjot Singh Sidhu, whatever he has said, he has right to say that, but he is saying it at what cost? And it's not only Navjot Singh Sidhu. It was Harish Rawat a few days back who said that Kamar Chima Bajwa, General Kamar Chima Bajwa, who is at the back of all those terrorist activity and who kills our Jawans at the border, who kills 6 Uttarakhandis and other Jawans from other states. I'm saying these two states because of Rawat and Sidhu. So, but from other states also, and because of whom the civilians are being killed in Kashmir. So they are their bhais. I mean, it's not that something new. I mean, even Navjot Singh Sidhu, Harish Rawat, both are stating the same. And Harish Rawat is in record saying that I can't utter a word without the permission of my high command. And for Navjot Singh Sidhu, Rahul Gandhi is a captain. He never accepted even captain this thing as a chief minister.
Sujata, bhaichara is fine. Okay, Mr. Singh. Sujata, there is no problem with bhaichara, but bhaichara with an enemy who's killing your Jawans inside your territory.
Can I complete?
Your own party leaders. Mr. Singh, just a minute. Sujata, your own senior party leaders have come out to condemn Mr. Sidhu's statement. Manish Tiwari, a senior leader in your own party, and Mr. Rashid Alvi as well.
You know, again, can I understand what Mr. RP Singh is trying to say? The Prime Minister went according to protocol. What about Abki Baat from Sarkar? But I'm not going to go there. I'm going to stick to this because he's correct.
He's the Prime Minister of the country,
Sidhu is not the Prime Minister. Listen, Mr. RP Singh, Sidhu is not the Prime Minister of the country.
People
do not allow him to go.
People vote the government to decide the policies.
Mr. RP Singh needs to be quiet if he has to listen. Otherwise, how will he answer? Mr. RP Singh, I'm asking you a simple
And the late
question.
policy
Mr.
is
Sidhu is
terror
not.
and talk can't
Will
go
you
together.
listen? How will you
You know-
answer? Mr. Sidhu is not the Prime Minister, like you said. And if he is going to Pakistan, why are you allowing him to go? If you don't want the Kartarpur Sahib corridor to be open,
Sujata,
if
you have not
don't want
answered my
President-
question. I asked you a
You
simple
know, he
question.
spoke in between. Yes.
Huh.
yes.
I asked you a simple
yes.
question. I said, I'm asking you, when your own senior party leaders are slamming Mr. Sidhu for his statement, how are you defending it? Or is
See,
the
as
party
far
not on
as-
the same page as far as Mr. Sidhu is concerned?
No, see, I'm neither defending the statement of Mr. Sidhu nor speaking against what Mr. Manish Tiwari has said. What I am saying is that when we are talking about our neighbors, we need to ensure that we have a safe border. There is no doubt about it. And if we are allowing Sidhu to go across the border, isn't it the center's responsibility to stop him? If
But
he's
it's
going
not the
there, do you
center's
expect him to be
responsibility.
fighting?
But the center cannot control what he goes and says there, na?
No, but don't allow it. Why shouldn't he say Bade Bhai? What is wrong in saying Bade Bhai? After all, he has a personal relationship and he's not the Prime Minister. This is what Mr. RP Singh said. This is what I'm trying to say. So don't make a political issue about something which is not political.
Okay,
right?
RPS Malhotra, come in here. Okay, I've heard your point. RPS Malhotra, come in here. You're the spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. What Sujata Paul is saying is, don't make this a political issue. This is not a political issue. This is a personal issue. Navjot Singh Sidhu and Imran Khan have had a long relationship. And after all, what is the harming advocating a good relationship between two neighbors?
Well, Shreya, the very fact that we are having this kind of debate on a national channel shows the immaturity of thought of our political parties. What is our ultimate aim? No doubt, terrorism is bad. It has to be condemned. No doubt, the attacks on our borders are not acceptable. But ultimately, what are we aiming at? Do we want this war to continue for hundreds of years? Do we want to see our people dying every day for hundreds of years? Don't we want to put a stop to it? What I agree with the BJP spokesperson. What's wrong with it? The hostilities have to end one day. It starts with a single step.
Okay.
I just don't agree with BJP. They have been thriving on the politics of hatred right from the word go, and even now they are pursuing that.
Okay.
So yes, why should there be double standards? Why when the Prime Minister goes there unannounced, that is welcomed, and when Navjot Sidhu is, though they are our political opponents, but I have no, I'll not mind supporting that whatever he has said is right thing.
Okay.
With these small gestures only, the good things start. And I request BJP to kindly mature up, kindly be positive. Don't spread hatred, and don't please look to build your empire on riots and fightings.
Okay. RP Singh, I'll quickly let you respond to that, and then I'm going to go to Hemant Attri to put Mr. Sidhu's statement in perspective for us and whether that will impact the Punjab elections. But Mr. RP Singh, quickly, 10 seconds, make your point.
Well, I'm shocked. The man from the Aam Aadmi Party seems utterly confused. But that's different point. But remember, Navjot Singh Sidhu, when he went last time, he said Rahul Gandhi and Ahmed Patel ji has sponsored chartered aeroplane for me. And then when Rahul Gandhi says something here after the abrogation of 370 and said that a lot of people have been killed in Kashmir, same is reiterated by Imran Khan in UN Assembly. So there is some sort of bonhomie without fail. And that's the reason that they have gone against that BSF, new law of BSF, which says that they can, for BSF, they said they can go to 50 kilometers because the drugs is coming from drone. And then the arms are coming from by drone.
What are you accusing Navjot Singh? What are you exactly accusing Mr. Navjot Singh Sidhu of? Are you accusing him of being a Pakistani spy, a Pakistani agent? I need to understand what is the accusation you are leveling against him.
Can I complete?
He's played cricket for India. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I complete? So, one hand he talks against drugs in Punjab. He says we need to take on against the drug culture. And here in Punjab. And other hand, you are saying the person who sends a drug as your bhai or yar dildar. So they don't match. It means there is something conspicuous behind the complete scene. When you do something for Punjab and you say something else in Punjab,
Okay.
whereas your actions speak something else.
Okay, Hemant Attri, just put this entire controversy in context for us and whether you think it will have any impact, negative or positive, in the upcoming elections.
Shreya, for last 3 months, since Mr. Navjot Singh Sidhu has taken over as PCC president, he is in the news for all the wrong reasons. For all the wrong reasons. He is behaving like a loose cannon. Now he should understand that he is no more a commentator, cricket commentator. He is no more a cricketer, or he is no more a comedian. He is the president of a ruling party in a bordering state like Punjab, which is just adjacent to Pakistan. Mr. Navjot Singh Sidhu should behave in a particular way so that his party, which is fighting the biggest contest in not only in Punjab but Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand and so many other states, he should not walk into a particular trap. See, Bada Bhai, Chota Bhai, he is my this, whatever it is, whatever he calls upon. My thing is simple. Should he put his party into a trap which hurts it where it should not? He has put his entire party leadership into a quandary. His own party people are asking him, see, you should have fine relations with your neighbors. There is no doubt about it. You should have everything fine. But my question is, Mr. Navjot Singh Sidhu, where was the need to say Mr. Imran, to call Imran Khan as his Bada Bhai today? He was there for a prayer. He was offering this Kangana Sahib's prayer. He should have paid it and say whatever he wants politically. Where was the need of terming Imran Khan as his elder brother? Question is very, very simple. Mr. Navjot Singh Sidhu is down with attention syndrome. This is what you call attention syndrome. He is there in the news cycle for all the wrong reasons for his party. He puts them in a particular trap. And there is no way out. As far as Punjab is concerned, Shreya, let me tell you just one more sentence. Punjab is very clear about this election. No Pakistan is going to play there. But Uttar Pradesh election is simultaneous. He should behave in a particular way that he should not put his party in such a trap where they have no reply. All BJP leaders, all other parties, all opponents will simply ask one question. How can be a person terming Mr. Imran Khan as his elder brother be your PCC president? Has Congress any reply for that? You can't defend the indefensible.
Sujata, do you have a response for that? This is your PCC chief who constantly ensures you're in the headlines. Wese that is not necessarily a bad thing, but for the in the headlines for almost always for the wrong reasons.
No, not at all. You know, whatever Mr. Attri has to say, he's welcome to his opinion. But the BJP is looking for issues because right now they know the kind of backlash they're facing because of the farm laws as far as Uttar Pradesh is concerned. What is happening? Encounter government is going on, Thogto and all that. Now, when Sidhu was part of BJP, then he was not a comic. He was a great leader, right? And that's why he was sent to the parliament. But when we are talking about Sidhu calling, the Pakistani Prime Minister Bade Bhai, I want to know from Mr. RP Singh, why are we playing matches with Pakistan if that is the problem? Why does Mr. Jay Shah sit over there and converse with people from across the border? I mean, just think about it. What are
RP Singh, respond to that. And respond to one more thing. Sujata, thank you very much. Respond to that. If we have such a problem with Pakistan, and we have a problem with Pakistan, they are pushing in drugs and terrorists into our territory, then why are we playing cricket with them? More importantly, here's the thing. आपको Mr. Sidhu की बात से तो आपके खून में उबाल आ गया इतना. What about Kangana Ranaut and what she said about the protesting farmers today? उनको मच्छरों की तरह कुचल देना चाहिए and not a word from the BJP? Mr. Sidhu पे पूरे लंबे press conferences हो गए. Not a word on Kangana Ranaut and what she has said.
Thank you. I'll just say what I have to say about Kangana Ranaut also, very sure. I have not seen the clip, another I'll appreciate if you run it, but even then if I go by what you're saying, I strongly condemn what Kangana Ranaut has said about farmers. Strongly condemn that. As a BJP spokesperson, as an individual, I strongly condemn that. She has no right to say those words for farmers at all. And she has no right to create farmers as Khalistani at all. But coming back to Sidhu, now, what are you talking about?
And cricket.
Sidhu.
And cricket. If we can If we have such a problem with Pakistan, if we don't want to engage with them, why play cricket with them? That is a question that Sujata is asking.
Shreya, can I complete, please? And I'll surely answer. I'm not running out of the questions. I'll answer your each question. Now, let me say what I was going to say about Sidhu. See, it's not the first time Sidhu is doing so. And I'm accusing right now on your channel that 15 kilometers, 50 kilometers issue was raised, and then some resolution was passed where they can't pass that resolution in assembly because it's not in their domain. Only because there is something bigger in this thing.
Kya?
And there is already a Shreya, please. And I'm raising serious doubt that why that 15 kilometers and 50 kilometers questions were raised.
What are you
only
accusing? Mr. RP Singh, please be clear here. I only have 30 seconds. What exactly are you accusing the Congress here of?
Are
you accusing the entire Congress of being an agent of Pakistan?
Otherwise, why would they oppose something like which is there for the security of the country?
Oh, you are traitors. You are traitors. You are traitors.
I never interpret. So someone is chasing drugs.
Okay.
Chased till 15 kilometers. Beyond 15, 16, 17 other kilometers till 50 kilometers, the drugs can be handled by the people who are
Okay, I have to end this debate. Let's just be decent here and say that no one on this panel is a traitor. All of us are Deshbhakts here, so let's not name call each other. Thank you for this debate. Thank you very much. It's not a debate that is getting over anytime soon, so I'm going to thank all our guests. Just to quickly take you through what Kangana Ranaut has said, we've discussed that over the last 20 minutes as well. This is the other side of the spectrum. Actress Kangana Ranaut, upset with Prime Minister Modi withdrawing the 3 farm laws. Well, she took to Instagram and put a post praising Indira Gandhi and, well, once again calling protesting farmers terrorists. Ms. Ranaut said that Khalistani terrorists are twisting the government's arms and that a woman leader like former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi is needed, as she was responsible for crushing them like quote-unquote mosquitoes, a reference presumably to Operation Blue Star. Now, Akali Dal spokesperson Majinder Singh Sirsa has lashed out at Kangana Ranaut over a post demanding that her account be banned for this hate-mongering. There are a couple of FIRs and cases that have now been lodged against her. I know you've been very upset. You're going to lodge a police complaint, I believe, against her?
जी बिल्कुल. Today itself we are going to lodge a complaint against her. क्या आप कल्पना कर सकते हैं? Anybody on this earth could even imagine in his or her dreams कि कोई ऐसा भी लिखेगा, इनको मच्छरों की तरह कुचला जाए, इनको जूतों के नीचे कुचला जाए. ये आज भी उसके नाम से डरते हैं. What nonsense is this? The only reason is because she has been provided with the security from Government of India, and now she dares to speak like this. I think the Government of India should take a call on this, that whether she deserves this kind of award or she deserves a jail. I believe somebody who is such a hate monger, ये एक फैक्ट्री है, एक कारखाना है नफरत फैलाने का. If this is the statement of a government spokesperson, then I could have believed this. Reason being, nobody has a right to speak like this, not me or you. Right to speak doesn't mean that you will spread a woman. Doesn't mean that you will use this kind of a derogatory words against the people and saying कि इनको मच्छरों की तरह कुचला जाए, जूते के नीचे कुचला गया. Do you think that it is appropriate words to be used against anybody? And now when you say that she is a attention seeker, I believe she's nobody. That's, you are right. But then why government has provided her with a Z+ security?
कंगना रनौत का एक इंस्टाग्राम पे पोस्ट डाला है. उन्होंने एक तो खालिस्तानी कह दिया कि भाई खालिस्तानी के सामने सरकार झुक गई है, लेकिन उन्होंने कहा कि इंदिरा गांधी ने जिस तरह से जो सिखों के साथ किया उसको जस्टिफाई किया कि वो तभी वैसे ही वो मानते हैं, उन्हें मच्छरों की तरह कुचला. उस पे क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
ये कहा गया क्या बीमारी आएगी, या नेता है या राष्ट्रपति बनेगी देश की, या क्या बीमारी है या, और क्यों इसको इतना महत्व दिया जा रहा है कि गंगावत ने यह कह दिया है, क्या बीमारी इसका समझ में ही नहीं आया. या नेता है या उद्योगपति हैं या क्या बीमारी है या?
क्या चुनाव लड़ना चाहते हैं? आपको लगता है ऐसा कुछ कंगना का?
अब क्या पता भाई क्या है, यह तो एक नई बीमारी देश में आई, या कंगना एक नई बीमारी देश में आई, समझ में इसका हमें भी नहीं आया क्या है।
This is breaking news coming in ahead of that big cabinet reshuffle in Rajasthan. All ministers in the government of Rajasthan have now resigned. Sources saying that call for the resignation came from the central leadership. This is essentially being seen as a balancing act to keep both Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot happy. The initial information was that there will be 6 posts, cabinet posts, that will be given to Mr. Ashok Gehlot's camp and 4 will be given to Sachin Pilot's camp. But is there a change of plan? Is there a new twist? We'll just have to wait and watch. But we do know that all the portfolio allocation, who gets which ministry, all those calls are being taken by not the state leadership, by the central leadership. Let me go straight across to Pallavi Ghosh, who's joining us on the phone line. Pallavi, what more details are you picking up? Are we looking at a complete overhaul of the state cabinet?
Well, that's exactly the purpose, it seems, because the entire cabinet. So there are going to be 14 to 15 new ministers, we are being told. And of course, pilots, people are going to be accommodated. But I think the big news point over here is that they're going to try and follow the Punjab model, which is that it's the center which is also going to dictate and decide who are going to be the ministers, what portfolios. And the presence of Ajay Makam basically corroborates this line of thinking and a messaging really to the state government and to the state leadership that a party is supreme. The party decides, to quote someone who was very close to the central leadership said, it's a party which decides who holds what post. So I think it's also a message to the MLAs that please don't draw your strength from only one leader. Does this pave way immediately for Sachin Pilot's elevation in the state? Well, not really, Shreya, because they're looking at a national role for him. But there is a demand coming in from Pilot supporters that closer to the 2023 state elections, he should actually be made the chief minister.
Pallavi, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much for joining us on that big piece of news that is coming to us from Rajasthan. Tomorrow is when the cabinet reshuffle is expected, sometime in the evening. A story we are tracking very closely here on CNN News 18. With that, it's a wrap from me. Thanks for watching. Good night.